How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, I'm hanging out with my buddy Craig Odom
That's right. That's me.
of multiple different, industries, if you will, have had a very diverse set of skills that you've kind of applied to multiple different things, and I'm super happy to have you on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Fantastic. Well, let's kind of start by, telling me a little bit kind of like what your, daytime work is. Like, what do you do as a profession?
So my profession, I am in the car industry.
Okay.
So I am a car salesman. I guess that would be the term that we use, where we see ourselves more as consultants, showing people how to purchase things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And how long have you been doing that?
5 years now.
Okay. There's oftentimes a negative connotation that comes around, being a car salesman. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'd say about 20, 30 years ago, everybody had that negative, 1970s car salesman ideal that we were always out there to just get all your money and do all this. And I mean, I guess that's how it was years ago. But these days, it's as simple as when you come in, I show you the proper way to purchase a vehicle.
That's right. In fact, there's been multiple vehicles that have gone through you coming from my end. And I think more importantly, your approach to what you do is one that there's a lot of passion behind it.
Absolutely.
I started noticing a lot of the content that you used to put out, just kind of like of the persona, yelling into the camera. And I was like, all right, well, this guy is obviously onto something, right? So kind of like take me through that. How did that start and why did you do that?
So I've always been an outgoing person.
Okay.
I've spent the majority of my career in restaurants and bars. Mm-hmm. So if you're behind the bar, obviously, you have to be an outgoing person. You can't be shy and timid and whatnot. But I'm generally just a laid back person. So I just brought my bartender side out into the world.
Gotcha.
When we got there the first year, they wanted to start trying to put a face with the name. Mm-hmm. So you know how when you put a lead in for a car, you would just get text messages, bombarded with emails, things like that. So we decided to do short videos. And it was just, hi, my name's Craig. I just want to put a face with the name.
It wasn't exactly like that, but
that's how it started. But I have I have an issue with my eyes.
Okay.
So whenever I look at the camera, and I don't notice it, but I'll switch, and it looks like my eyes are doing this. So that gave me like real bad self-confidence.
Oh, it did.
So if you ever notice in those first videos, I'm always wearing sunglasses.
Okay.
So it's like I'd put the sunglasses on and I would like transform into like that weird, crazy.
Sure.
I just wanted to get the energy out.
Sure.
We're excited about showing you cars. We're excited about your purchase. We want to make it a fun event. We don't want it to be, oh, they're trying to get all my money. You know what I mean? No, it's a car. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it progressed. And then we finally just started doing like test drive Tuesdays. I think we're going to start doing like carpool karaoke, just fun stuff, showing about the cars. And you've been on one of our test drive Tuesdays.
That's right.
That's right. And it's a fun event. We want to make it fun.
So let's roll it back right quick.
Sure.
The one thing that kind of like stood out to me was saying being very self-conscious. Yes. And obviously that's something I think a lot of people struggle with, especially putting content out for either your business, for, marketing or whatever it is. How did you overcome that? Because the glasses aren't always there.
They're not always there anymore. I've thrown the Clark Kent persona to the side, and it's just now it's just what's up Facebook, big beard and all. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So it basically if you're going to start doing something, it's scary at first. Mm-hmm. Anything like cooking is scary. You don't know if you're going to burn this. You're going to do this. Doing any of your hobbies is scary. So you just need to take that leap. Skydiving,
mm-hmm.
You set it in your mind and you just do it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they try to get everything, well, I need cameras, I need this. They just make an excuse. We had a conversation before. Remember, and I was talking about I used to love to draw. Mm-hmm. And what I love about you and our friendship is you call me out on my BS.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, that's BS. You got time. And I was like, you're right, Adam. You're right. That was me just telling myself, no, I don't have time to do this. You have time to do this with your business. You have, if you want to be the best in your industry, get up and do it. It's very simple. You know what I mean? If you want to have someone looking at you, give them a reason to look at you.
That's right.
You know, the worst thing that you can be in any business is obscure.
That's right.
You know, so you want to be out there. You want to be in everybody's face. Comment, talk to people. You know, be upfront and honest. You know, give them a person to see.
That's right.
Now, if you want to be fun, I like to be fun. So, you know, that's when I turn the camera on. That's when I just go click, and I'm fun.
That's right.
You know, and then you know me, like from purchasing vehicles, I can go and be serious.
That's right.
When it's time to be serious, I can be serious. But you know, but the car stuff is just, I love it, man.
So tell me kind of like what the impact of doing those type of videos were for kind of like your sales, you know, I guess making it known that, you know, you are the person that people should go to. Because like people want to experience at the end of the day.
They're very
like
much
when people purchase a car, it's not so much about, okay, well, you know, absolutely the decision of the car is important, but they also want to feel like, you know, family. When they come and step into that dealership, they don't want to feel like they're being sold, so forth and
That's
so
right.
on.
That's right. So I like to see it as the person isn't a customer; they're a guest, and that comes from years of restaurant experience. You treat everybody like they're your family, like they're your favorite person to see, because they are your favorite person to see. You know, if there's an issue, I want them to call me. Everyone has my cell phone. You've seen me up here millions of times.
That's right.
You know, helping Kevin with his.
That's right.
And I don't mind doing that. I want to give service after. I don't want to sell you one vehicle. I want your entire family to come to me. I want to be your car guy.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, you know, you've never even heard of these people, you know, and I want to be out there in your face. I've noticed in 2020, I stopped doing as many videos. I was letting other people do videos. So I just kind of backed off. And I did see my sales diminish.
Really?
Yeah. I never push come see me. I always push come see us, because I want everyone at the dealership to give the same experience that I would give. I do need to get back more into that. I did start doing more with YouTube and things like that.
Sure.
So it pulled me away from that. But this year, I think I'm going to start building back up the Facebook thing. I didn't have anybody knowing that I was selling cars. I just, you know, you just put on Facebook, oh, now I work at this place. You know?
Sure.
So I took the 5,000 plus Facebook friends that I had, and I just started doing daily videos, talking about cars, letting them know that I'm here. If you need something, come see me. You know, and doing the dinosaur suits, the fun stuff.
Sure.
You know, and I want to make it. I played off of that you know, crazy car selling thing to a fun aspect.
Sure.
And that's just how you have to be.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch kind of like that growth. You know, you've been kind of skirting around the edges of this. You know, you've been mentioning bartending, service industry. You've also, you know, have various different other things that you're involved with. Let's start at the beginning. So how did you, like did you come to Statesboro? When did you come to Statesboro?
I came to Statesboro in '98. I graduated mid-year '98. So when I graduated it was January, because I wasn't the best student. I had to make up for things and take an extra half a year and all that. I hadn't always been the focused person that I am. So I came here in '98, and the first thing that I needed to do was to find a job.
Yeah.
So I was going to Geechee Tech for technical drawing and drafting. So that's what I have a degree in. I have a degree in technical drawing CAD. I ended up getting a job as a doorman in a bar. So I would be the person who checked your ID, who would take your money, do that. One night, the bartender was sick. They threw me behind the bar. I don't even drink, but I know how to mix things.
Sure.
You know, and it went from there. Next thing you know, I was a bartender. I got an investment opportunity, and I purchased my own bar in Statesboro. I had it for about 2 years. Turned around.
Which bar?
I owned a bar called the Corner Pocket.
Okay.
It's where, you know where Dos Primos
Okay.
was? It was right there. I purchased that from a friend of mine. They just wanted out of their lease. The funniest thing about it was I just acted like I was the bartender. At no point in time did I ever act like I was an owner.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, I know the owner. Okay, cool. I'll make sure. It'd be like kind of like if you rolled in and they didn't know that you were the top dog.
That's right.
And I could just treat everybody the same way.
That's right. That's very cool.
It was a pool hall. I didn't know anything about owning a business. I just took it, ran with it. I got it for, I think, $3,500. I bought it out there, and that's a minuscule price now.
Yeah.
So I bought out their lease, and then I got added onto the liquor license, and I kept paying them rent throughout the entire thing.
Sure.
It was fun. I loved it. I realized this is what I wanted to do. You know, I mean, you just make a ton of money, but you don't realize the things that, you know, at that age, I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know anything. All I know is I could have fun and make money. So it was pretty cool. Then I ended up selling that and then going back to working with a friend of mine at El Sombrero. I worked at El Sombrero the majority of my time as a bartender in Statesboro. So that's where most people know me from. I'm this bartender from El Som.
Yeah.
With my friend Rami, who owns Bites and a smoking place. And then him and his brother opened the Sahara Smoke Company, which is hookahs. Ended up having tobacco issues where it couldn't come in from the ports. And I'm like, man, I can make this tobacco. And I got called out on it. So a friend of mine called me out on it, one of the owners. And I was like, I researched it. And the next thing you know, we had a tobacco company and we're making tobacco.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool, you know. And these guys are still like, you know, friends of mine, like family to this day. And it was just a fun experience. So I just like I said, I just try to see how many things I can get into.
Sure.
You know, and I just try to add that whole customer service, you know, aspect to everything.
I think that's a critical skill, right?
It is.
You know, when new challenges arise, you kind of like take it by storm and try to figure out like how you're going to do it. So coming back to the hookah company, how is that posed? So, you know, you said that they had difficulty getting to tobacco from imports.
So you have to get tobacco back in the day from overseas. So everything came from either China or either the Emirates or anywhere over there, the Middle East, Jordan, and you had to ship it in because there was no American tobacco companies. So everything came from this one area, and it would get stopped at the ports. And they were like, oh no, you can't get this. So you'd have people wanting to get their product, and you couldn't supply them with their product. So it became a supply and demand. So then we researched it and was like, okay, well, it can't be this hard to do. I mean, you can cook.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Sure.
You know, you can make beer. It's the same thing.
Sure.
You know, so we got into it and we made an American tobacco.
Nice.
So we took
Was it the very first American tobacco?
That I know of, yes. Yeah. Like we're the reason that,
In Statesboro.
I think in the US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
it was made in
Statesboro, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have one of the largest hookah manufacturing facilities in Statesboro, Georgia.
Who would have known that?
Nobody.
Nobody.
And
And it's
we're-
still in Statesboro. It's
Yes.
still operational?
still operational.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you know, and it's just a cool thing. It was just two brothers with a dream. And when I see somebody like that, I jump. You know, like, you know, I support all my friends in any of their adventures. It's like, let's do it. Let's go, go, go. I just want to be, I'm like a hype man. Let's do it, do it.
I can dig it.
And that ended up turning into a big thing. So we'd go on trips to like Vegas and Atlantic City. They went to Germany one time. I mean, it was just a cool thing. It was a cool life to experience. And then the hookah industry just exploded.
Yeah.
I think when we started, there was only 10 flavors of hookah tobacco and like 4 manufacturers. And then we got the crazy idea, let's add a new flavor. And they were like, what? Oh, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think our first year we had the 8 to 10 traditional flavors. And then 6 months after that, we had 16 flavors. Then we started a side part to it, was like mixing.
Sure.
So we made our own personal mixes. That got up to about 65 flavors.
Wow.
Of just mixes. It was just wild. And then we had like a traditional line that came out. Then we had an herbal line that came out, and it was for people who don't want to have tobacco. It was just fun.
Why is there not with the manufacturer here, why is there not more, I guess, of a hookah culture in Statesboro?
There was. So in, I think, 2007, my friends opened up Oasis, okay? And there was already like 2 or 3 diners around that was hookahs. And then we made a tapas bar. You know what a tapas is?
Yes,
right? Okay.
of course.
So we opened that and gave Statesboro like a more elite place to go to, where you could smoke hookah, you could have nice drinks. You know, if you wanted to go and party, you could party and whatnot. But it was less rowdy, more refined.
Sure.
Then there was right beside us was another hookah bar, and the laws make it difficult to do things like that. Nobody wants smoking in bars. Well, you're technically not smoking. It's like a 2,000-year-old vaporizer.
Sure.
That's what it is.
Sure.
So it just kind of fades out. it's easier for people to have their own hookah at their house, their personal hookah, and do it that way. So it's just, then with the invention of vapes, vapes are the new hookahs.
Gotcha.
I will probably get tormented in every hookah group I'm in for saying that. Because it's kind of like Pepsi versus Coke. I can't believe Craig just said that.
Sure.
But it was a fun thing. It was very fun. It was a wonderful life experience. And I'm all about that. I'm all about learning about people's cultures. I like that a lot. It's because I just want to know people and talk to people and get their story.
I love that. So we've done the hookah thing. Now what happens next for you?
So I left the hookah thing, and I ended up going to purchase my very first car. I'd always paid cash for everything my entire life, and I went over to J.C. Lewis Ford. And my friend Russ, Russ. Mm-hmm. He's friends with your dad. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I know my buddy Tim. Everybody knows Tim.
Sure.
Tim, if you don't know Tim Humphrey in Statesboro, you get your life right. I've known Tim since I was 15 years old. And I called him and I said, Tim, I have a situation. And he goes, what's wrong? And I was like, well, I don't have any credit. I said, I don't know how to purchase a vehicle. I need to build credit. Uh-huh. I was like 36 years old. I had no idea about any of that stuff. No one taught me any of that, which people still don't teach their kids that.
Sure.
So I walk in and I said, I found a car I like. I know I'm going to have a high interest rate, and I just need to get a car. Mm-hmm. I have something to trade in. So I went through the process the proper way. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I was doing it the proper way.
Sure.
Tim picks on me because I bought a red car, and I despise the color red. And I said, well, I only have to see it 10% of the time, but the interior I'll see 90% of the time, and that's what I'm happy with.
Sure.
And Russ goes, that sounds like a car salesman right there. So I sold myself.
Yeah.
So when I was in the finance office and coming out, Russ and Tim offered me a job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just right there.
Right there on the spot. And I was like, I like what I do. I'll think about it and whatnot. And honestly, it's something I wish I would have done years ago. I love my life experiences I've had, but I didn't realize the impact that it made on my life having a job like this. Mm-hmm. I get to help the community. I get to help people. It's fun. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. I've done so much in the past 5 years.
So you actually turned the job down?
Yes, I turned the job down, and
at that moment in time, were you pursuing something else? You were still doing?
I was still doing the tobacco and the hookah stuff and whatnot, and I turned the job down because, being young, I was like, no, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. I didn't think I'm like, they could you could make this much money, and I was like, I'm making this much money now.
Yeah.
But then I didn't realize there's a difference between making this much money, having taxes taken out and health care and 401ks and stuff like that, versus going slinging some drinks behind a bar and just putting money in my pocket.
Sure.
So I think that was my adult moment, where it was finally when I was like, well, I'm an adult. Mm-hmm. I need to do this the proper way. And I wish I would have done it, years earlier.
So when did you actually make that switch? When did you kind of like get down the road where you were like, all right, well, I'm not going to continue to bartend anymore, because that was your main source of income?
Yeah,
at
that was
that time, right?
I think during that time in Statesboro, I was making about $6,000 to $8,000 a month.
Wow.
Bartending. But,
Wow.
You understand, you can't just hold money like that.
Sure.
I had no idea what to, I was just spending it on stuff. I'd go out to eat every day. You
Sure.
know what I mean? I like to eat. So, everybody has their vices. Mine's food.
Yeah.
So then I realized I was just spending all this money on food.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't have any savings or anything like that. So then I was like, no, I need to be an adult. Let's do this. And so 5 years ago, it was in May 12th, 5 years ago, I took the job with the dealership, and I had to learn how to do everything like that. It was life-changing, so, and people, like I said, look down on car salesmen. I don't understand why.
Let's take me back to that
Sure.
moment, because, sometimes maybe some people that are listening, they are dealing with something that's very similar. They're making a huge life decision. Can you recall the way that you felt in that moment, and what was going through your mind?
Yeah, I was with the hookah company, and we were doing good, but I wanted to make more money. I didn't realize I needed to make more money, because I would supplement my money from the bar, and then I had my money that I was making from the hookah company, but I could be making so much more money. Well, obviously the only way to make more money is to either get a raise, sell more drinks, or sell more product. Mm-hmm. And I was tapped out at what I could do. And I pulled everybody into the office and I let them know I was leaving. I mean, I was crying. I was upset about it because it was like I was leaving my family.
Sure.
And they were supportive about it. And they're like, well, do what you got to do. I wanted to have a house. I wanted to have, family. I wanted to have all the stuff that everybody else had and not just keep renting all the time. And it's just, like I said, it's a life-changing event.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain in words. I'm not very good with words sometimes. I'm quick-witted, but I'm not good at getting some of my thoughts out. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Everybody goes to their job, and I joke around. I'm grumpy at work a lot, and they're like, "Why are you so grumpy?" I'm like, "If you're not complaining, it's not work."
Yeah.
And that's just I'm just being silly, you know what I mean? But I enjoy being able to help people.
Sure.
I've seen people in different situations where some people can come in and just stroke a check for something. Some people have went to a place and they've been taken advantage of. And a lot of people don't understand that, if you get a vehicle and you have a high interest rate, that you can refinance. You're not stuck in that.
Sure.
Little tips that you can help people with. And my goal is to show someone how to purchase something properly so that every 2 years they can come back and get something new. Sure. They can start here and work their way up. So if they want to get that F-250, they can get it. Yeah. And I show them the way to do it. It's kind of like we're a financial advisor.
I love that.
And I think it's great. If you give someone a fair deal up front and treat them with respect, they will come back to you. And a lot of people in places get the bad persona of not doing that.
It seems as if you're at your core, you just want to connect with people.
I do.
Whether it be bartending, whether it be, through the hookah industry, whether it be through car salesman or whatever it is, there seems to be this unifying theme where like it's very people driven, and that at the core is why you make the decisions that you do. And the road doesn't end here, right? Like
No.
There's continuous more that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So take me into that, because that's one of the ones that I'm kind of like, why? Of all things.
You want to talk about the snakes, don't you?
Let's talk about the snakes. So tell me how you got into, I guess, that industry.
Okay, so we'll have to go back even further.
Okay.
So I think when I was still doing my own bar and stuff like that, I had a girlfriend, and she was into like reptiles and stuff like that. And I've always been into turtles and lizards. I'm a dog person down in heart, and I love dogs and cats. And she bought a ball python. And I go, okay, it's a snake. It's just one of those cool pets. So then I actually just told this story on our YouTube channel. I think it was a year into that, for her Christmas present, I bought her a Burmese albino python. And that's that big yellow snake everybody sees in all the videos. It's a big Burmese python. All right, so that is not a ball python. A ball python is a very docile creature. A Burmese or a reticulated python, they will come out at you like that.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I buy her this baby 3-foot-long albino Burmese. The first thing I did was reach in there to pick it up like I did mine, and I came back with it stuck on my hand. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's you're going to get bit. I mean you're going to get bit. So my buddy Tony, that's who I do the snake stuff with. He owns Hardwired Exotics.
Okay.
I come in and I help him with his YouTube channel. He's a very facts driven person.
Okay.
So I'm very fun.
Yeah.
And I can be fun. So I come in and I try to keep it fun and do that. So she ends up leaving, and I get stuck with these snakes. And then her roommates leave.
How many snakes?
She had one, and I bought her another one, and then obviously it was too big for her to take care of, so I took care of it. Then she moved back to Atlanta, and like everybody in Statesboro, they move and they leave their pets. I cannot stand that. So me being me, just bring them here. Yeah. So I think my apartment, my bedroom looked like the red light district. It was just, just purple lights and red lights everywhere from heat lamps. And I had about 6 snakes, 6 snakes and 2 tokay geckos. And those are mean. That's the little Geico geckos. Yeah, don't ever pick one of those up. They'll bite you. They're like little pit bulls. Sure. So I had that, and then my Burmese got to be about 12 foot long and died of a respiratory infection. And that was me just listening to pet stores. Oh, this is how you do it. Here's how you take care of them and whatnot. And if I would have known then what I knew now, I'd probably still have that snake. And it was just gorgeous. I loved him. So a few years go by. I'm in the car industry for about a year. I see Tony's posting snakes up all the time. And I messaged him. I'm like, hey, man, you doing snakes for a living? And he goes, yeah. I said, I love that. That's awesome. Because back in the day, him and I did dog breeding together. And I was like, well, I want to come see him. And I get out there, and he's got this just room that you see in the videos. And it's just snakes everywhere. And
Yeah,
I was like,
like
this is so cool.
the little drawers and everything.
Well, because where they're from in Africa, they prefer to be in dark places.
Sure.
They're either underground or in their termite mines. So they like to be all tightened up. And I was like, back in the day, they had this snake called a pied bald. And pied in terms is like my beard, where it's lack of color and then color, like a calico cat or something like that. Or you'll see spotted horses. They're pieds. And I said, that was the cool morph back in the day. And that was a $100,000 snake. And he was, oh, I got one right here. And I was like, oh, he goes, have you ever seen a all white snake with blue eyes? And I was like, no. And he pulls one out. And I was like, and right then my brain, me being me, I go, I want it. I'm buying it. When you know me, when I see something I want, I just get it. So I bought that one. About 2 weeks later, they had another one that was all white. And this one ended up having like a purple thing on it. And I was like, I'm buying it. So with snakes or any reptiles, you will understand you can't have one. They're like Lay's potato chips. You have to get more.
Sure.
So then I bought more, and then I went to like a snake show with him, and I was like watching all these YouTube videos. I'm like, look at this guy. Oh, this is so fun. This is cool. And he's like, well, I'm not into that stuff. He's not social media driven.
Sure.
And I was like, all right, we got to do it. And he was like, no. So one day I'm in there, and I just go live on one of these snake groups, and it was a clutch of eggs, and I go, all right, guys, I'm going to pull this clutch of eggs, and y'all going to see me do it for the first time and whatnot. And I was like, wait, I got to hold the camera. And I was like, hey, Tony, do it. And he was like, really, dude? And so I just called him out. I made him do it.
Yeah.
So then the channel is his wife's channel. We're just the people that she films.
Sure.
And it was just, next thing you know, it's just become a thing.
Yeah.
More people are watching. More people want to see it. More people want to talk about it. And it's just fun. We have about 2,700 followers right now.
That's crazy.
And it's just fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's what I do on my day off.
Sure.
And it's just fun.
It's very interesting to me. It seems as if there's always, at the core of it, there's something that's very entrepreneurial about you.
Yeah.
Right. Like you'll always try to, be in, you'll have an opportunity, and then you'll kind of like push it and nudge it along its way. Have you ever thought about, you've had that bar by yourself. Have you ever thought about starting a business yourself?
So I need to, I was talking about that the other day because I'm to the point now where my collection is going to be more breeding. So I have about 47 snakes right now, which people are like, oh my God, that's a lot. And I'm like, I don't have enough. So I'm to the point now where I need to start thinking about that as a business. And it's like my side business.
Sure.
And then for stuff like that, you just need to pay attention. Just to supply my collection with rats to eat. Because they eat, they don't eat carrots, y'all. They eat rats. If I were to buy that from Petco, that'd be $5 a rat. 40 times 47. You see what I mean?
Gotcha.
Or I can just go to my local feed store and buy $200 worth of rat food and just turn my shed into a rat room.
Gotcha.
So now I have like this farm of animals at my house. So you have to, in this hobby, you have to think like a business.
Sure.
So my collection is pretty much a business.
Got you.
I think I'm due to do about 15 to 30 clutches this year. And so that you really got to think, because then you'll have to find someone to purchase those and things like that. So your hobby is building your collection. But what are you going to do with all the babies?
Sure.
So you have other people out there in the world that they're like, oh, I could use that for my collection. Okay, here, let's do it. And it's just a huge community. So pretty much all of the people in the hobby have their own business. And it's a business of that.
That's right.
So it's pretty wild, the amount of reptile people in the world.
And so the strategy there is because they are breeding, because they are kind of like creating, I guess, more and more reptiles. You need to find places to be able to sell them.
That's right.
Do they usually sell to other hobbyists, or are they mainly selling to like maybe starters, or how does that work?
So it's kind of like I got all mine from Tony. And then we found other people that had things that I wanted to pursue, and we would get them from those breeders. There's an entire website called morphmarket.com, and that's where all the breeders go. And it's broken down by genetics. So when it all comes down to it, they're all the same thing. Well, like I said before, just with different skin tones and tattoos and stuff. So you're making the same thing just with a different paint job. And a lot of the people purchasing these, $5,000 snakes, $10,000 snakes, $14,000 snakes are people like us that are just trying to make our collection and seeing what the next cool thing can be.
Sure.
And so that's what it is the rest of them, you have people who are on larger scales sell to pet stores.
So it's mainly on, the patterns, right? That you
Yes.
when after you crossbreed them or do whatever, they basically change the patterns on the skin.
So you have to do, how were you in biology class?
I was decent.
Okay. All right. So you know how you have the little square where you put this gene and that gene?
Sure.
That's what we do.
Sure.
It's math.
Sure.
So all my stuff goes back to math,
Sure.
And so you're playing odds.
Uh-huh.
So like if I stick this one that's going to be an albino with this one that's het for albino, I know my ratio to get these are going to be these and that. I'll send you links to all the stuff, and you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh my God.
That's very cool.
It's wild.
So with the hobby as a business, there's a lot of people that have hobbies out there, and it's crazy. Like we live now in a world where that can happen, where
Yes.
because information is so accessible, and there are online communities, and then there are kind of like, I guess, markets that you can push your products to. What would you suggest to be? How do you start to do things like that? Is it more of a innate ability that you can do that, or do you think that anybody that has a hobby can turn it into a business?
That's a good question. I think nowadays, with how the past 2 years have gone, that a lot of people realize that someone wants their product. Look at Etsy, things like that. People that do 3D printing, people that make things out of leather, anything. The grails that you make.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a wonderful idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and all it took was you having an idea and going, I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people can do that. They can have a home-based business. They can have, a digital store, if you will, but they just have to have the drive.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as, I want to go to the gym. I know I want to go to the gym, but I like to eat.
Sure.
Craig, get up and go to the gym. I don't have the drive to be like, okay, I'm gonna get up and go to the gym, but I do have the drive to go. I want to make money.
Sure.
I want to help people. I want to do that. So I have that drive. Some people don't have a drive to fold their laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Other people do have a drive to fold their laundry. And I think it's just in the back of our minds that they're just, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Well, then 40 years down the road, you missed your later.
So you bring up a great point. What is something that you would like to tell somebody that is thinking that maybe something is a little bit too difficult, or don't have the motivation to pursue what they want?
Just take the step. Just do it. We hear it all the time in our job. I'll come in tomorrow. Well, I can't promise it'll be here tomorrow. That life, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. You're guaranteed today.
Yeah.
And you might not even make it through the day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see something you want, if you seriously want something and you want it bad enough, you will do it now. And it's like Zach said something, if you see something on our website online, it's probably already gone because someone's in here doing it. They're doing it now. Like, if you wanted to do this, you would think about it logically. And when your mind went click, do it, you jumped and you did it.
Sure.
Someone else would be thinking about it 2 weeks later and be like, well, Adam already did it. And it's, people just don't have that. It's that with anything in life. You see someone you want to talk to, don't be scared. Go talk to them. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, someone else is.
That's right.
I mean, you wouldn't let when you saw like anybody out there, when you saw your wife, you saw her and you knew that's my person.
That's right.
If you hesitated, that would be someone else's person. I mean, that's with anything in life.
So strike fast.
Strike fast, strike hard.
Well, Craig, thank you so much for spending some time with us on the show today. I really appreciate, hearing the stories, finding out a little bit more about kind of like your life. I think it's very inspiring, to say the least, when, you have, somebody that has traversed everything. Your care towards customer service, I think, is extremely valuable. And I'm, honestly, I'm looking forward to everything that you do in the near future.
I appreciate
it. But keep me updated. I appreciate having you on the show. And yeah, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I appreciate it.
Cool, man.